Hi everyone. Welcome to Awakening PH, and in our episode today, we will talk about the 7 last words of Jesus, and I will explain it from the point of view, from the spiritual point of view of the Christ consciousness. And the Christ consciousness, this is what we call the unity consciousness. Okay, and this Christ consciousness is present in all major religions, in all system of belief, and this is the main focus. This is the main. This is the basis of all the spirituality of every religion. Okay, so and the reason why we have so many religions in this planet, we have so many belief systems, because we all have different soul. We all have different kinds of souls, and our soul vibrates from a different level, from the different vibration, from different frequency, and by which we have we have different understanding about our life. So that is the reason why many religions were established. No, but the basis of which is the same spiritual consciousness, the Christ consciousness, or the unity consciousness. So before we start, I am going to read with you a part of the writings of Elizabeth Clare Prophet. No, he is a prophet by name and by his mission during the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, I think. No, and I happen to read this, but this is the belief that have transpired when I awakened. No, and before we start, I want to introduce myself again. My name is Mizraim. No, my friends call me Chap. And I was a former seminarian, Catholic seminarian, and I was a philosopher and a theologian. So my understanding of this concept springs from my Catholic faith, from my doctrines, uh, but through my awakening experience, I have reached a different level of understanding that is beyond the teaching of the Catholic Church. Meaning to say, this is not beyond, but I gained a deeper understanding of the theological perspectives of these things that we will be talking about. Okay, so because it has been my mission, I want to become a priest before, but I figured out that if I'm a Catholic priest, I will be serving a small amount of a small number of souls, those who believe in Christianity. So that's why I'm bringing this, this new but old, this old but new. We are relearning again. We are relearning again this understanding, because the understanding of the Christhood of Jesus is also an understanding of ourselves. Okay. So before we start with the seven last words of Jesus, I want you to hear this message from Elizabeth Clare Prophet. Sometimes people stumble or get hung up on the word Christ. This comes from the Greek Christos, meaning anointed. Hence, the Christed one is one who is anointed with the light of the Lord. And this light of the Lord is our I am presence. This I am is the God within us, the God inside us. This is the I am presence. Sabi nga, 'di ba nung tinanong ni Moses yung kausap niya sa Mount Sinai, doon sa burning bush, sabi niya, ano yung pangalan mo? God responded, I am who am. So that's why I am, the I am presence is the God particle of every human soul that is embodied in this present moment in this planet. Okay? So if the word concerns you, you can substitute the word for Buddha, Allah, or Jehovah. Whatever particular name you identify with. But the overall meaning of this Christ, the Christ self, is the voice that speaks within our heart. The still small voice of the hidden man of the heart. It is the voice of conscience that tells us right from wrong, giving unerring guidance and direction when we learn to listen. The Christ self is the mediator. No, this is the mediator between God and man, and corresponds to the second person of the Trinity, the Son of God. Because Jesus became one with his Christ self. In fact, the Father and the Son dwelt fully in Jesus, as he said, and as Paul testified. Sabi ni Apostle Paul, the Christ self is the Christ of Jesus and the Christ of you and me. So this is the process. Later on, you will see that it is very easy. It is very easy for the plants to fulfill their mission as plant. No, in order for them to reach another higher kind of soul, which is animal. And it is very easy for the animal to reach their highest potential because they are just following their sentient nature. No, they just follow their senses. But why is it hard for us, the human being, to fulfill our mission here in this planet? Why do we need to keep on reincarnating from this planet, doing the same things, paying the same karmic debts that has been seem like very impossible to finish? No, meaning to say, we keep on recycling our karma. No, so the reason here is the free will and our intellect. No, God He made these two main principle, our two main rational faculty, to be encroachable because of His love, and He wanted us to grow on our own self. So that's why with this free will and intellect, sobrang dami ng variation ng paniniwala, sobrang variation ng belief, and from that we know that belief is the source of all our conscious and unconscious actions. And all our conscious and unconscious actions are the source of our life experiences. Okay, so we go now to the explanation of the 7 last words. This is very familiar to me theologically, no, because I've studied it. We've studied it when I was in seminary, and one of the main reason, one of the information or one of the wisdom that I have learned, no, in dealing with theology and dealing with the nature of the divinity, it is very important to believe first. Because this belief, the moment we believe, it is also the moment where the cosmic, where the light beings, the universe, is blessing our crown chakra with important knowledge. Because if we do not believe, we already block the flow of the cosmic knowledge, and our consciousness. So let's go now with the first. Hindi na natin patagal. Huwag na nating patagalin to. And let's start with the first word. The 7 last words of Jesus explained from the spiritual point of view of the Christ consciousness. Number 1, now the first of the 7 last words of Jesus is, my God, why have you forsaken me? So forsaken means is to renounce or turn away entirely. To renounce, that is the meaning of forsaken. This word of Jesus speaks about the time when a human being is experiencing the dark night of the soul. And when we are experiencing the dark night of the soul, the fear, the doubt, the worry, the sadness, the discontent, all the lower emotions are heightened. All the experiences all our experiences outside amplifies this dark night of the soul. It's a process. We are not going to be stuck forever in this dark night of the soul. Darkness represents the hardships and difficulties the soul meets in detachment from the world and reaching the light of the union with the Creator. There are several steps in the night, which are related in successive stanzas written by St. John of the Cross. And the main idea of the poem of St. John of the Cross can be seen as the painful experience that people endure as they seek to grow in spiritual maturity and union with God. So, while we experience this, we have to understand that in every dark tunnel is a light. Now, of course, Jesus Christ as a human being, as a soul having that temporary human existence in His body, naramdaman niya din itong pain. Lahat ng tong suffering na nararamdaman natin, naramdaman niya din. No? In my opinion, there is no really darkness. It is just the dimming of the light within because of the suffering that we experience, because of the challenges that this life has given to us. So while we experience this, we need to allow our heart to light the path from within. So the light did not really turned off. It's just dim, because the dimming of your light is your opportunity to shine your brightest light. How? No, we need to give more love. We need to give more understanding. We need to give more compassion to the self and others while we are experiencing this suffering. Because if we do not, then we keep on projecting these pains that we feel inside, these traumas that we feel inside to the people around us, until such time that we become toxic to the people who love us. No? We only experience hell so that we can bring heaven on earth. Just like when Jesus brought the template of the unconditional love in this planet. So that is my channeling, no, when it comes to the first last words of Jesus. My God, why have you forsaken me? Although He is divine, although Jesus is God, but because of His humanity, He can also feel this dark night of the soul within us. So while we are experiencing this dark night of the soul, no, it is our responsibility to the self to give more love, more compassion, and understanding while feeling those emotions. Because we will not be stuck there. There is always a light at the end of the dark tunnel. Number 2, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. I love this because when I awakened, I have an instant understanding of how this word can be explained. Not from the Christian theology point of view, but from the universal Christ consciousness. And perhaps this has been the main focus of my mission here in Awakening PH. No, the balancing of the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual aspect. So, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Ano ba yung ibig sabihin nito? Aside from fulfilling the prophecy of the Old Testament, the universal meaning of this is the humanity's unconsciousness whenever we are driven by any kind of emotion. Thus, we react not based on what happened in this present moment, but through the trauma and pain from the past. So every time we feel fear, every time we feel angry, every time we feel this, it is as if that is the only reality that we can live in. It is as if we cannot get away from that space of fear, from that space of lower dimension, unless we become destructive, we become violent to the self and others. So that is what the unconsciousness means here. No, this is the reason why Jesus saying, forgive them, Father, for they do not know what they are doing. Because the people who made Jesus suffer, no, who allowed Jesus to suffer, were unconscious. They were just following the orders from up above. That is why, just like what we are experiencing here, the war is not happening because of a single leader. It is happening because of the people who are just following an order without being conscious of who they are and being conscious of their guidance inside. So, the unconsciousness. So when Jesus said that I am God, no, since the belief that they are thinking is galing pa doon sa basis ng understanding nila sa 10 Commandments na you shall not bear false witness against God. No, since He is a human, hindi na sila naniniwala na yung tao ay magiging Diyos, yung tao at Diyos ay iisa lang sa katawan niya. So wala silang naiintindihan doon, although it has been prophesied by the Old Testament by so many prophets before them. But their ego reacted. This is also happening to us in a micro level. No, when we hear something that we do not understand, when we hear something that we do not know, we right away judge that information based only on our limited knowledge, based only on our limited knowing. No? So this is a subconscious level that many human beings do not know. For when they feel these emotions, they unconsciously think that that is the only place where they can live in. No? The only way to get out is once you make your reaction, whether violent or destructive, in thought, word, or action. So we can see this within ourselves. How do we react if we hear something that we do not know or something that we do not believe? Do we become unconscious with how we react? Or we go inside and ask, why is it that I cannot understand this? Why is it that I do not know this? Is this really true? Well, I will check inside. I will ask my God inside if this is aligned to the Christ within. Okay? So emotional imbalance leads to mental imbalance. This is part of the main essence, no, the core mission of the Awakening PH, no, to integrate, to balance these four main aspects. So when we are emotionally imbalanced, we are also mentally imbalanced. We become stuck in the loop where emotions create thoughts and thoughts create emotions, which has become the cause of an ending karmic cycle as we keep on reacting based on our unhealed pains and traumas from the past. Jesus is telling us here that forgiveness to the self and others, no? It means that healing our, Jesus is telling us here that forgiveness to the self and others is the way to Christhood. It means that healing our past and our lack of awareness thereof are the greatest cure to our unconsciousness to the sins. We become unconscious so we do not know that we keep on creating stupid things in our life. And then we keep on blaming other people. We do not know that tayo lang din naman yung gumawa nun. Hindi lang nga natin alam. Because we were far away. We are so far away from that understanding. No? So, later I will tell you bakit naging ganito yung human consciousness. Bakit napalayo tayo sa katotohanan na message na dinala ni Jesus dito sa atin. Okay? So, that is the meaning of forgive them, Father, for they do not know what they are doing. No? Human beings become unconscious with their emotions, when they keep on reacting with their emotions. No? And once we become unconscious with our emotions, no, we react from them unconsciously, we become the emissary of violence and destruction in this planet. We become the source of violence and destruction in this planet. That's why what Jesus said to his Father is forgive them, because those who persecuted him do not know what they are doing. Number 3, sabi ni Jesus, I tell you the truth today, you will be with me in paradise. Okay. So before we can understand this, we have to understand that there are 3 persons hanged on the cross that day. 2 of them were guilty of the crime and paying off their karmic debts. Yung dalawang magnanakaw. Because prior to that, no, before the crucifixion of Jesus, before we hailed the holiness of the cross, no, those people who were hanged on the cross were all criminals. Okay? So, but the other one, on the 3 people who were hanged on the cross, the other one is karmic free, blameless, and not guilty of any crime. But why Jesus suffered? Because it is his sole mission. His sole mission that through his suffering, he can establish the unconditional love in this planet. And why do we say that Jesus is unblemished, he is blameless, and he is karmic free? Because he came from Immaculate Conception. Mother Mary bare a child not from sexual intercourse. It was divine intervention. It was God who impregnated, who put the soul of Jesus there. So Joseph was his foster father. He was not really blood related to Joseph. So he has no karma. The only reason why he came here is to establish his divinity. while in his body. So wala siyang karma na i-heal kasi natapos niya na yun. What he was activating is his Christhood with his body. Okay? So this is a scenario elaborating the process on how we can save from sin or karmic debt. No, that the first guilty did not believe. Okay? Did not believe. Instead, he mocked Jesus. The second guilty believed and expressed his willingness to be saved. So here now, it is elaborating here. What is Jesus is elaborating here is the process or the template on how we are going to be saved, on how we can experience paradise, or on how we can experience heaven. Okay? So the guilty did not believe and he mocked Jesus. But the second guilty believed and expressed his willingness to be saved. Jesus knows, no? He knows about Jesus. The first one, the reason why he believed, because he knows Jesus and believed, no? Through his capacity to think, he achieved a coherence of the mind. He has a clear intention. That clear intention is to be saved. No, and we know that intention in the Old Testament, we call this the covenant. No, because through our intention, God responds. Kaya makikita din natin bakit dito sa mundo maraming tao na kahit na gumagawa sila ng mabuti, may mga kamalasan pa din silang na-experience. Because even though their actions are good, their intentions is different from their action. Okay? So may karma pa din. Okay. So he knows about Jesus and believed. So he has the capacity to think, and he has the coherence of the mind. He has the clear intention to be saved. And number two, he expressed his desire to be saved. The capacity to decide. He exercised his free will because he experienced the coherence of the heart while suffering. He experienced clear feeling. So this is where we enter. We have to differentiate the emotion and the feeling. Because emotion is energy in motion, but it lingers in our subconscious, in our consciousness. It lingers as if it is an illness. But feeling is common. It is part of our shared humanity. We feel this fear, we feel this anger, but this is not part of us. The only reason for which is for us to have a surfboard so that we can surf this life, even in the midst of the life challenges. So that is the meaning. We have to achieve to have this coherence of the mind and coherence of the heart, so that we can have clear intention and clear feeling respectively. And by that, when we ask, Jesus will tell you the truth. Today, you will be with me in paradise. Number 4, sabi ni Jesus, woman, behold your son. Son, behold your mother. This is one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite in the 7 last words. And this is one of the longest explanation that I put here. So the key word here is stewardship. Before we understand this, I want to explain with you a brief explanation of the Trinity. The Father, Son, and Spirit. Okay. The Father represents the I Am Presence, the light, the mind, and the head. Okay? So that's why the head of the family is the Father, the King, the light, the mind. So sila yung monopoly of truth before. Diba? And the Son symbolizes our higher self. The part of us who knows everything, who is the part of us who is more powerful. And this is the God particle within us all. Okay? This is our Holy Christ self, the love incarnate, or the physical manifestation of love. You are the physical manifestation of love. That's why you have the physical body. Okay? And the Spirit determines your energy and what kind of person you are now. That is your spirit. And we can differentiate it to the word soul. Okay? Because the soul is non-permanent aspect of being that is continuously evolving or devolving through time and space. So its permanency, the permanency of our soul, just like what Jesus achieved and other ascended masters, its permanency is determined by a ritual of the return to God. And that ritual is what we call the ascension process. Okay. So where is the mother? There is the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. Where is the mother? What did Mary symbolizes? No, and what did John symbolizes? Of course, John symbolizes us because we are the sons of God. No, we are the love incarnate. We are the love in a physical manifestation. Okay, so where is the mother? The universal meaning of the mother here, no, when Jesus said, is the planet Earth. The planet Earth is the mother. No, part of Jesus' mission is to bring back the relationship of the man and nature. Because we can only learn about our soul through our physical body. Hence, the mother is the nurturer of the temple, this body, which is the temple, which is our body. So once we fail our temple, this body, we either limit our experience or worse, we can end our experience in order to fulfill our mission to activate our Christhood. No? Before he came, which is written in the Old Testament, the planet was in the age of Aries. And we know what happens during that time. No, the ego is heightened. No, during these times, the spiritual understanding of humanity is based only on the limited aspect of the physicality. Thus, to see is to believe. Many kings and Pharisees and kings are the only monopoly of truth. That's why when Jesus said that, I am God in a human person, sabi nila, blasphemous, hang him on the cross. Let's kill him on the cross. No? Hindi nakayanan ng ego nila na yung God magpapakita because their ego led them to believe that God, no, dahil nga we are created in the image of likeness of God, na mali yung pagkaintindi ng mga tao doon sa Old Testament. No, they believe that we are created in the image of likeness of God, pero the human being created the image of God and likeness based on the understanding of himself. That is why sila mismo yung nagpapunish ng fellow people, ng fellow human being nila in the guise that this is the decision of God. That God wants them to punish for saying these things. Pero sila lang din naman yung nagpapasakit. So we enter into the concept that God is a punishing creator. Imagine that. So because of that, many people establish trauma, gain pains, no? Na lahat ng ginagawa, nangyayari sa buhay nila is a punishment from God. Hindi nila nakalimutan na it is just the karma or the law of cause and effect, allowing us to become more responsible with our next action. Di ba? So nagkamali ng understanding ng tao doon sa image and likeness of God. But we know, no, we are coming back, no, this knowledge is coming back online. The real image and likeness of God is love and benevolence. Not the image of likeness na may ulo, may kamay, may katawan, no. God has no body. God is the pure consciousness of unity. So why do we attribute all our sufferings as a punishment from God? No? Not based, no, that is the main focus in the Old Testament, no. The people before Christ came, no, because Jesus also nabuhay din siya sa religion, nabuhay siya na Jew, na Jewish yung sinusunod nila nung time na paniniwala. Pero anong ginawa niya? Anong ginawa ni Jesus, di ba? Jesus told us that our belief should be based on our true divine nature, no, that we all have the God inside us called our Holy Christ self. The God particle which is present in all of us now. Because if you do not believe that you do not have this Holy Christ self within you, your understanding of God is very far. And this is also the reason why your blessings are far from you. This is the reason why you do not appreciate the blessings that you have there. Because you do not appreciate that God inside you. No? Thus, Jesus taught his disciples to take care of the mother, to take care of this planet. And by the same means, the mother will also take care for our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual nourishments. The only way to understand the father is through the mother. Thus, if we fail to take care of our relationship with the mother, we will also fail our relationship with the father. As above, so below, as within, so without. So that church set on stone has been already destroyed by Jesus when he was resurrected from the suffering and death on a cross of ego or his human aspect. No? But 3 days after, he resurrected as Christ. So what Jesus Christ, no, yung namatay doon sa cross ni Jesus is his humanity, is his ego. And whether or not he physically die, si Jesus lang yung makakasagot niyan. Because we do not know what really transpired. No, ang dami nang nagsasabi, you can ask your God inside. No, but within me, I believe Christ died. Otherwise, there is no fulfillment of his soul mission. He died, but he resurrected with the integrated ego self and higher self, with an integrated of Son of Man, of being Son of God, with an integrated manhood and Christhood. Okay, he rebuilt the church where we can nourish our temple. Hence, the entire church is not the building itself, but the entire planet Earth herself. That is our church, and we need to take care of it. And so you don't need to go to the churches, you don't need to go to whatever kinds of buildings, no? Although they have energies there because many people project their energies in that place, but the real church is in the nature. You have to commune with the birds, with the trees, no, with the air that you breathe. This is the connection that Jesus Christ has entrusted to us. Because if we came into contact with Mother Gaia, with the mother, we will be nourished physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. That is why every time we are depressed, it's very nice to go to the nature, meditate doon sa mga forest or green or sa dagat. No? So, that is the meaning na mother, behold your son, son, behold your mother. Jesus Christ have established, no, rebuild our relationship with Mother Nature, because we can only learn about our soul through our body, not from the mouths of the people or priests or whatever. No, we can only understand our soul through our body. So if we fail our body, no, if we fail our connection with the giver, with the nurturer, then we will also fail our body. And if we fail our body, we will limit our experience. No? So we fail our purpose here on earth. Better luck next body, sa next reincarnation. But with the same experiences, with the same challenges that we are going to face. So the message is we have to face it now. Just face this present moment. No? And whenever you feel the dark night of the soul, you go to the nature, you commune with nature, no, establish a relationship, and that Mother Mary will also heal you. Okay. So that is number 4. Number 5, I wrote that the number 5 is I thirst. Sabi ni Jesus, I thirst. So this speaks about the humanity's unquenchable thirst for the water of life. Water of life is the giver of life. No? Water of life symbolizes the giver of ultimate truth from the ultimate source. No? The ultimate truth is love and benevolence. Benevolence means the disposition to do good. No? Lahat tayo ng tao merong ganyan. Nagkakaroon lang ng dim, no, nagkakaroon lang ng lower dimensions because our experiences, no, we allow our experiences to dim the light of this love and benevolence. We do not know that we are just experiencing the return of the energy of what we created in the past. Say for example, how do we understand karma, and how do we go away from that karma? Okay? So, I have this story. Imagine, a 6-year-old woman was raped by his father until he reached high school. Okay? So, nung nag-high school siya, nagkaroon siya ng opportunity na patayin yung tatay niya na nangre-rape, nang aabuso sa kanya. But she did not. Instead, he chose to flee. No? He chose to go away from their house. And when she reached adulthood, nagkaroon siya ng spiritual awakening, nagkaroon siya ng understanding about his past life, naintindihan niya kung bakit ganun yung nangyari sa buhay niya. Okay? Naintindihan niya na sa past life, yung tatay na yun, yung soul ng tatay niya, pinatay niya. And he keeps on killing that person, that soul, even from his past lives. So paulit-ulit, kaya bata pa lang siya, na-experience na ulit yung karma, ni-rape siya. No? Pero the only way to change our karmic cycle is to change our thoughts, our words, and our actions. So nag-awaken yung bata, naintindihan niya. Buti na lang hindi niya namatay. Kasi kung pinatay niya yung tatay niya, yung cycle na yun, paulit-ulit lang. Babalik ulit siya dito sa mundo, magkasama ulit sila, re-rapen ulit siya, or ano pang mga paghihirap. So, our reaction is our own creation. Okay? So, kahit anong ginagawa ng tao sa'yo, anong mga ginagawa nila sa'yo, you are not a privy to what they do. Because that is them projecting their own pains and traumas, unhealed pains and traumas within. So if you react violently, you react destructively, then you are also reacting from your pains and traumas in the past. And it will also create the same karmic cycles in your life. So in order to change it, you have to change your reaction here now while you experience that suffering. Okay? So ultimate truth is love and benevolence. And the ultimate source is the pool of creation where all energies reside and emanate. Yung pinanggagalingan ng lahat na to. We call it universe, we call it God, we call it the ultimate source or whatever. They are just the same. Okay? So we have to understand that we have our own unlimited spring of love and benevolence. Meron tayong unlimited dito na bukal ng pagmamahal at kagandahang loob. Oh, because we have a God particle inside us. And that is our Holy Christ self, just like what Jesus had. This is supported by the universal law that says we have a perpetual energy of transmutation. Negative energy cannot transform the positive ones. Only positive ones can transmute the negative ones. That is the universal law of perpetual transmutation. Thus, no matter how difficult our experiences are, this love and benevolence within us are never dissolved. They are just dimming because we focus more on our experience, blaming, shaming the self, complaining instead of understanding, instead of learning, instead of finding the purpose of every experience that we are going through. From what cup are we really drinking? Meaning, to whom do we believe? To whom do we listen? To whom do we get these divine truths? We must drink from the cup within. We must listen from the guidance of our God inside. Not from not from me or any other person. No. You can hear me talking now, but listen to your God inside. If what I am saying here is the same message of your Christ inside you. That voice of conscience inside you, is this applicable to you? Do you resonate? Do you think you can believe this? No, I'm not asking you to believe. I am asking you to question yourself now whether this is part of who you are. So unless we cure the quench for the water of life, not the giver of ultimate truth, we cannot drink from the cup within. We cannot hear the message of God inside for our life. Okay? So that's why Jesus said, I thirst. And that thirst not comes from His divinity, but comes from His humanity. Because Jesus can also feel us. Because He's a human being. So number 6, sabi ni Jesus, it is finished. But it's also one of the beautiful, isa din to sa pinakamaganda sa 7 last words ni Jesus. So it is finished. This speaks about the fulfillment of Jesus' sole mission. That is to lay down the blueprint on how to, 3 things. The blueprint on how to heal the past with our karma, embody our holy Christ self, how to embody our holy Christ self, and 3, how to manifest heaven on earth when the Son of Man becomes the Son of God. When you are able to activate, when you are able to actualize, realize your own divinity, your own Godhood, your own Christhood. Okay? This means the end of karmic cycle of humanity since the fall of the temptation of Adam and Eve. No, may blueprint yun, yung tinatawag nilang original sin. Yung original sin na yun is the collective and the individual karma of humanity. Nagpatong-patong na lahat ng ginawa natin sa unconsciousness. So lahat tayo dito na andito ngayon sa mundo, we feel the heaviness of this karmic debt. And that is what the Christian Theology says, the original sin. No, but Jesus have already destroyed this concept because He already rise as God in the human body. Okay? So Jesus had successfully established in this planet the highest divine energy of unconditional love. Now, by His death on the cross, He redeemed the world. So if you are a believer that Jesus did not die on the cross and did not resurrect as Christ, which some spiritual people adheres, then you do not believe in the fulfillment of His salvific mission. Or so, we do not yet understand the entirety of this salvific history of this divine mission. However, all of us have a respected free will and intellect, and our life will only match the level of our thinking and how we decide for ourselves. Now, this is our main responsibility for ourselves to expand. This is not the responsibility of teachers, priests, or government workers for you to expand. This is your main responsibility. Because in the book of Job, it was said, naked I came forth from my mother's womb, naked shall I go back again. Okay? Our mission here is not for other people. Our mission here is for ourselves to activate this Christ consciousness within us. Because once we establish, we activate that Christ consciousness within us, then we become the positive force around us. Because the light that we discover is unlimited within. And since that light is unlimited within, we have this unlimited source of love and benevolence that we can share around us. And that is what the Ascended Masters are doing. That is what the Ascended Masters have activated in their life. That's why until now, we may not see them, but we can hear them talking from God inside. Okay? So, Jesus knew that only the self can save the self. No? Jesus knew that only the self can change the self. So, He did not come to change us. He did not come to save us, but only to establish the template on how to save ourselves. We have to do this. That's why nasa tao ang gawa, nasa Diyos ang awa. We need to make our fair share. And that is to align our intellect and our free will to the path of Christhood that Jesus have laid. We can only fulfill our Christhood if we believe that we all have Christ within us, and we decide to follow the path of Christhood laid down by Jesus. What happened? Why is it so uncomfortable to believe this, brothers and sisters? Now, why is it seem to be impossible for a mortal man like me, like you, like Jesus to achieve Christhood? No, why is it very difficult for us, unlike Jesus, to achieve Christhood? These are the reasons, brothers and sisters. Number 1, the institutions have conditioned us what to believe. Since the time of Jesus, they concealed so many information so that they can establish the church, so that they can establish their main agenda of controlling people. So what do they control? They control your intellect. They control the information that you can learn, that you can read. No? Kaya nga, since time immemorial, especially nung kahit nung mga 1400s, the church is the monopoly of truth. Why? Sila lang yung may access magbasa. Sila lang yung may access mag-aral. Kaya yung mga tao na walang access mag-aral, what are they? Tenants. They are just tending the land. No? And they were conditioned that if you till the land, you are doing it for the kingdom of God. Pero sino yung nagbe-benefit ng products? Sino yung nagbe-benefit ng mga products ng lupa na tinanim ng mga tenants? Yung mga nasa taas na may alam na nagko-control. No? So this is the reason why at this present moment it is very hard to believe that we have Christ within. That we are all Christ. Because these institutions have controlled us of what we believe. Ang daming information na kinonsil sa atin, ang daming information na tungkol sa sarili natin na hindi natin alam. Pero alam nila. Sila lang yung may alam, hindi nila pinapalam. And once we learn these things, it is the end of their control. It is the end of their institution. Another reason, the institutions have conditioned and controlled how we decide. Okay? So, another blockade here to the root chakra is the survival of your soul. No, if you do this, or if you do not do this, you go to hell. Yan yung pantakot sa atin, di ba? So because of this understanding, we are all living here on earth. We are all living in hell while on earth. Because we do not understand ourselves. We do not know our divinity. We do not know our divine heritage. No? Thus, there has been a great deal of slavery since the time of Jesus. Fear and ignorance are the main causes of slavery. There is fear because of lack of knowing about the true nature of the self. You do not know who you are, what you are capable of. No? This body are far more powerful than an atomic bomb. Because this body is capable of emitting so much light that can transform the people around us. Like what Jesus did when He established the unconditional love in this planet. No? There is fear because of lack of knowing about the true nature of the self. And when you are fearful, no, kapit ka doon sa mga taong sa tingin mo mas powerful pa sa'yo. Diba? So you cannot decide for your own. So you become slave. So the path of Christhood is the process of unlearning these conditions from the matrix and paying off karmic debts from the past actions when we are unconscious. So that's why dito sa mundo na ginagalawan natin ngayon, many people believe that in order for them to connect to God, they need a priest, they need someone, they need a healer in order for them to be mediated to God. So, ito yung Diyos, ito ka. Bago ka makakonect sa Diyos, kailangan mo muna ng tao na magtutulong sa'yo na mag-connect. Well, in some aspect, it is true. Because nga, hindi nga natin to alam. Kailangan ng mga taong nakaalam na mag-share nito sa atin. But what happens then is those people who were gifted with knowledge have used and abused this power. And this use and abuse of this divine energy is the cause of the suffering of this planet, the cause of karmic debts, of the karmic cycles that we are living in. Hence, we seem to be suffering like Jesus, but they are all because of our unconsciousness to this path of Christhood that we are being called. So we go now to the last but not the least. Number 7, Jesus said, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. Commend po ha, hindi commit. Commend, no commend. So, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. This means one word, surrender. No? Surrender to the unknown and unseen. Our ego or lower self always like to be comfortable and playing safe. No? Thus, while in the present moment, he likes to control the past and the future. And so, we hardly align to the divine plan in this present moment. We keep on reacting, gagawin ko to dahil ganito, ganyan nangyari sa past. Nag-iisip ako ngayon, baka sa future, pag hindi ko to ginawa, ganito yung mangyayari sa future. Pag ginawa, ang daming, kumbaga, nuisance. Ang daming nuisance din sa utak natin because of too much belief na binigay sa atin na para paniwalaan natin. And minsan naniniwala na lang tayo without asking our God inside if this knowledge, this information is applicable to the truth that is there within us. Okay? So if we are always in our comfort zone, there will be no growth. We will just keep on recycling our experiences over and over again. So real growth with God is really growth in the unknown. So this is what Jesus said. I don't know what will happen. No, you promised me that if I die on the cross, you will resurrect me with my Christhood. So from their point, hindi alam, kahit si Jesus, dahil tao siya, nagduda din siya. Nagdoubt din siya, nagworry din siya, natakot din siya. But because of his strong belief to the Father, sabi niya, ikaw na bahala, Lord. Ganon din tayo sa mga problema natin dapat. No? Hindi man natin alam kung bakit nangyayari ito sa buhay natin, kung bakit ganito yung mga experiences natin, but we surrender to God. We need to learn how to surrender to God because only from there we can be gifted with enough knowledge and enough resolution for that specific problem that we are praying for. So Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. Ikaw na Lord ang bahala. No? So, commend means to entrust for care and preservation. What do we entrust? Those things that are beyond our control. And what are those things beyond our control? The past and the present. The past and the future. We cannot control them. No, we cannot change the past. We can only accept them. That is how we can change the past if we accept that. If we accepted it. No? And we do not know what will happen in the future. No one else can. Even psychics, even seers, they are not 100%. No? Because no one knows what will happen into the future. So why we keep on controlling this? So instead of controlling this, we allow the patience here in this present moment. We become grateful in this present moment. No? And we exercise patience. Because once we exercise patience, we allow the angels to work with our prayers. So this is the reason why, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. Because through patience, through surrender, we allow God, we allow our angels to work with our prayers. No. Know that Jesus is fully man. No. He became fully God when he realized and actualized his holy Christ self. No. This means that his lower self, his ego self, and his higher self, the soul becomes Christ, have already integrated into one. That is the mission. That is our mission of all humanity, to achieve, to become an ascended master, to reach another level of our existence. No, kung yung puno naging hayop, yung hayop naging tao because he achieved. Yung tao hirap na hirap mag-achieve ng Christhood is because of our free will and intellect. And because of God's love to the humanity, He made these two main faculties of ours as unencroachable. Kahit alam ng Diyos na kaya niyang baguhin yan, hindi niya ginawa. Because He wants us to evolve. That's why we need to experience and we need to learn lessons from that experiences that we are going through. That is to allow the ego self to die so that His Christ self may be born. So for us, this is also our main soul mission, to walk in the path of ascension, and I am here to guide. Now, this path is the fulfillment of what we all came here to do. That is to integrate our ego and our soul. Imagine be mindful, brothers and sisters, integration of the ego and the self. So we do not lose our ego. We just allow the soul to take over from the promptings of this ego. Because this ego acts as if he knows everything, but he doesn't. But this soul is silent, but he knows everything. Okay? You see, it is easy for the soul It is easy for the souls of the plants to fulfill their mission as plant because their life is only based on their vegetative nature. They get life from the soil, water, and the sun. No? It is also easy for the souls of animals to fulfill their missions as animals because their life are only based on their sentient nature. No? They evolve based on the five senses, hearing, touching, etc. But why is it hard for a human being, no, to evolve to his next level? Which is becoming an ascended master like Jesus and many others who graced us with their presence in this planet. What is the reason, brothers and sisters, why it is very hard? The answer is because of our free will and intellect, our capacity to decide and capacity to think respectively. The reason why we have different spiritual understanding is because we all vibrate from different frequency. And so we have different experiences in order to learn our different lessons in life. Know that the expansion of our intellect, our capacity to think, and messengers are following the nature of their prophecy, the nature of them being prophet, because they already know what they came here to do. And you have the capacity to think and decide on how you are going to activate your own nature, which is your Christhood. What did you come here to do? What did you come here to be? So that's all. I end these 7 last words of Jesus as explained, no, from the spiritual concept, from the spiritual point of views of Christ consciousness. And I ask you, I encourage you to meditate on these words, no, and to establish relationship inside you. No, because you have that inner voice guiding you every now and then. No, guiding you 24/7. And you just have to expand it through your own volition, through your own efforts. And this effort is what we call daily spiritual practice. You commune with your own spirit, because every time we commune with our spirit, our soul grows. And once our soul grows, we reach our highest good. And once we reach our highest good, we serve the purpose of this existence. We serve the purpose of all our suffering and all the learnings that we gain in this experience called life. So have a holy Good Friday to all of you. And there is always a light at the end of the dark tunnel. And when there is Good Friday, there is also an Easter Sunday waiting for us to celebrate. So that's all. Send you energies of love, wisdom, and healing energies to you and your loved ones. And I pray that you will be blessed physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. May we all be blessed. Namaste. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone. Please share this video. Thank you.